This conference will now be
हेलो।
recorded.
Yes, so till the discussion which we had, I haven't recorded. Okay. Yeah, can you repeat the question?
हाँ सर, अगर
Hello?
कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पीरियड 1 ईयर है, तो
Hmm.
1 ईयर के अंदर अगर मटेरियल का जो रेट है, हेलो,
Hmm. Uh, uh, tell
मटेरियल का
me.
रेट अगर फ्लक्चुएट होता है इसमें, अगर मैं स्टार्टिंग में 1000 रुपए का कोई अगर चीज खरीदता हूँ और 6 महीने
Hmm.
के बाद में वो 500 की हो जाए या फिर 2000 की हो जाए, ऐसी कंडीशन में जो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एग्रीमेंट होता है सर, तो उसका
Hmm.
क्या ये रहता है क्या सर? वैसा कुछ प्रोविजन रहता है क्या?
Provision definitely रहता है. It's all depends upon
हाँ
how
सर, वो
you
जो
are
रेट ऑफ
going
फिक्सेशन
to.
रहता है, जैसा मैं अभी स्टील ले रहा हूँ आज की डेट में, फर्स्ट फेब आज जनवरी को मैं अगर स्टील ले रहा हूँ 1000 से, अगर 5 महीने बाद अगर वो 2000 हो जाए या फिर उससे कम भी
Hmm.
हो सकता है सर, तो उसका उसके बारे में भी पूछना है सर।
वही तो है ना ये सर, ये हर एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस रहता है. वो टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस आर एग्रीड बिटवीन यू एंड द वेंडर, राइट? सो उस
ओके ओके।
कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में जो भी टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस जो भी लिखा है उसके हिसाब से आपका प्राइस वेरी होते रहता है. लेट अस से आपने टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस में लिखा है, अगर मेरा प्राइस चेंज हो गया है तो उसके हिसाब से आपको पेमेंट करना है.
ओके ओके
ऐसा
ओके।
नहीं है, कुछ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स ऐसा भी रहता है, प्राइस let the price get fluctuated just like anything. Let us say in case of the petrol, right? Today you will have 110 rupees, tomorrow you will have 120, day after tomorrow it will have 90 rupees. So when you are creating the contract, you will have the agreement between the vendor stating that even though my price of the petrol is getting fluctuated just like that, I will pay a constant price during the entire contract period. Let us say I will pay
ओके ओके सर।
115 rupees as a constant value for the petrol per liter. Let the price increase or decrease it just like that, but I don't bother about it. I will pay during the entire contract period at the rate of 115 rupees as a price. So if the vendor also agreed and you also agreed,
सो इट इज द
you
फिक्स।
will pay accordingly only.
ओके, तो फिक्स रेट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट
Uh,
बोल सकते हैं कि सर हम इसे?
you can say fixed contract, fixed rate contract, you can say, no problem.
ओके ओके सर, थैंक यू।
Okay.
Sir, as you have informed, in this fixed case, okay, whatever price he has agreed, it may price may go up and down. Should supply at the same price. What there will be some cases in this scenario also, no, sir. Like suppose the same case example, whatever you have told. Suppose
Hmm.
petrol is 100 rupees. So
Hmm.
in that case, there might be scenario, no, sir. If price has increased, uh, in that case, according to the terms, if price is increased, we will give the extra amount. So that scenario also will come, no, sir. If according to the terms, if they agree.
No, I lost your voice in between. I didn't
Sir,
get you actually.
uh, sir, I'll come again, sir.
Hmm.
This fixed we have understood, sir.
Hmm.
In
Hmm.
some
Okay.
case, if if we take example of petrol only, if it is 100 rupees,
Hmm.
in our contract we have mentioned that if the price
110.
is increased, we will give the increased amount. What if example 110 is there, so we will pay the extra amount 10 rupees whatever. So this cases also will get, no, sir, if we accept
So
the
it's
terms and
all
conditions.
depends upon your terms and
Contract.
conditions which you agreed against the vendor. Let us
Okay,
say
okay.
in the terms and conditions,
Mm.
in the terms and conditions, if you specify, okay,
Mm.
if the let us say you will have a terms and conditions stating that for the petrol, I will pay at the rate of 110 rupees constantly for the entire year. That is the one term and condition. But if you don't want to pay a constant price or fixed price, you have the terms and condition in the agreement stating that if the price of the material got increased, I will pay I will pay to the vendor according to the increased price. If you have such type of clause, then you will pay according to the price that is available on that day. So that is also possible.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so then we will see. But what is a disadvantage of the contract, right? Normally, the disadvantage of the contract is, so during the start of the year, 1st of April, I will raise a contract upon a vendor. Let us say I am the Tata Group. I have raised a contract for 1 lakh pieces upon KSB pump. But I will not convey to the vendor when to deliver this 1 lakh pieces. I just gave the order. I just gave the contract for 1 lakh pieces, but I will not inform to the vendor when to deliver this 1 lakh pieces to my company premises. So such type of clarity I will not give to the vendor if I create a contract. But when I will inform to the vendor how much quantity needs to be delivered on what date against this particular contract, I will only ask the vendor to deliver the material only when there is a actual requirement of the motors in my company premises. Let us say I created a contract on 1st of April. The contract number is so and so I have given to the vendor. I will keep quiet. I will not ask the vendor to deliver the materials to my company against that particular contract. I will only ask whenever a production department person came to me and if he asked me, sir, I need 50,000 motors of to run my production. Then as a procurement department supervisor, what I will do, I will call the vendor and I will inform him. So we have given so and so purchase contract to you. Against that particular contract, you please deliver the 50,000 motors immediately. Like that, I will inform to the vendor to deliver the materials against the contract on instant basis. Right? So that is the problem. But if I told today to the vendor to deliver 50,000, he will say, sir, I need some time. I need 45 days or I need 1 month to manufacture the motors. I haven't kept them readily manufactured. Why? Because I don't know when you are going to ask me to deliver the materials against the contract. So that is the problem. So your production may be, you may lost the production because of the contract which you have given to the vendor. Why? Because he did not kept the materials readily available. Why? Because you haven't confirmed him when to deliver the material against that particular contract. So there is a chances of losing the production because of the non-availability of the material if you gave a contract to a vendor. So that means in case of the contract, no advanced delivery schedules, right? In case of contract, no advanced delivery schedules. Instead, as a company, I will be calling the vendor and asking him to deliver the material only when there is a actual requirement of the motors in my company. Only when there is a actual requirement, then only I will ask the vendor to deliver the materials to my company against the contract which I have given. Then what is a scheduling agreement, right? Scheduling agreement also one of the contract only. It will also have a validity start date and validity end date. It will also valid for 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or 1 year. It is also almost equals to a contract only. But in case of the scheduling agreement, as a procurement department, I am going to give the delivery schedules immediately after creating a scheduling agreement. Let us say I created a scheduling agreement against a vendor for 1 lakh pieces of the motor, right? I created this agreement as on 1st of April. Immediately, along with the scheduling agreement, I will also give the delivery schedules. Let us say on 31st of April 2022, I will ask the vendor to supply 25,000 pieces against this particular scheduling agreement. Again on 31st of May, I will ask the vendor to supply 25,000 pieces. Again 15th August, I will ask the vendor to supply 25,000. Again on 31st of December, I will ask the vendor to deliver the 25,000. This is nothing but a delivery schedule. So I will be giving the delivery schedule immediately after creating a scheduling agreement to the vendor, so that the vendor will not wait for my call or for my orders. Instead, he will simply start taking the production of these motors, and he will deliver the motors against the delivery schedules which I have given along with a scheduling agreement. In case of the scheduling agreement, there is a less chances of getting production impacted in your company. Why? Because you have given the advance planning to the vendor. The vendor will produce the products in advance and he will deliver according to the schedules which you have given. Right? So then what is a purchase order? Right? So we also have a purchase order over here. So purchase order is a one-time procurement document. It will not have a validity date like 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or 12 months. Instead, it is a one-time procurement document. Let us say I need 25,000 motors today. I will create one simple purchase order for 25,000 pieces, and I will give that particular purchase order to the KSB pumps, and KSB pumps will deliver the 25,000 pieces against the purchase order. As a company, I will make the payment to the KSB pumps and the purchase order is closed. It will not have a 1 year or 3 months or 6 months validity. So purchase order is a one-time procurement document which will be closed immediately after you received the material and made the payment to the vendor. So like the contract, quantity based contract and value based contract, the scheduling agreement and the purchase order, these will also have a release or the approval mechanism included in it. We will see how to create a release strategy for these documents in our coming sessions. So the purchase order, contract and the scheduling agreement, also the quotation which we have created as a step number 2, right? We have discussed about the quotation, right? So these documents will be called as a external documents. We discussed the purchase requisition will be called as a internal document, right? Why? Because it is the document which will be used between two departments. So that is the reason we are calling it as a internal document. But contract and the scheduling agreement and the purchase order, these things we will be calling as a external documents. Right? Why we are calling these documents as external document? Because these documents will be created between a company, in our case it is Tata Group, against a external party known as a vendor or supplier. In our case it is a KSB pump. Right? So there is no relationship between Tata Group and the KSB pumps. Both are altogether a different companies and altogether a different entities. So if you are creating these documents between two different entities, so that is the reason we are calling these documents as a external documents. So this is the step number 3 of the procurement cycle. Then what is a step number 4? So the step number 4 of the procurement cycle is monitoring of the procurement documents, right? Monitoring of the procurement documents, right? I created a contract, I created a scheduling agreement, I created the purchase order against a vendor. As a procurement department, if I gave the contract to the vendor and keeping quiet, the vendor may not deliver the material within the delivery time which you have given. Let us say I created a contract for 1,000 pieces, but one more person gave a contract for 1 lakh pieces to the vendor. So he will consider his order only, right? He will ignore my order. It should not happen like that. So to avoid all such type of problems, I need to continuously make follow-ups against the vendor for the orders which I have given to him. So the step number 4 is called as purchase order monitoring, right? So the step number 4 is monitoring of the procurement document. Step number 4 is monitoring of procurement documents. So we have created a contract, we have created scheduling agreement, we created purchase order. So these documents should be monitored against the vendor, right? How you can monitor? You can monitor manually. Means you will call the vendor and you will ask him, sir, I have given so and so contract. Have you taken the materials against that particular contract into your production or not? Will you be able to deliver the motors within the stipulated time which I required? So I will be calling him and I will be asking the status manually. Or I can also do the mails, etc. Right? I can mail him and ask him whether the materials are taken into production or not, whether he is able to deliver the materials or not. Or you can also in person, right? Sometimes if the material is very, very urgent and the vendor is not delivering the material, so what you will do? You will go to the vendor premises in person and he will discuss with him and he will ensure that the materials are received to the company at any cost. So in person also you will do the monitoring or follow up. Monitoring is nothing but a follow up activity, which is one of the major activity for a person working in a procurement department. Right, so then the fourth category of the monitoring is dunning process. Right, so in SAP we have one functionality known as a dunning process. What is the dunning process? Let me see. Let me go to the SAP system. So in SAP there is one functionality known as a dunning procedure. Right, so it is like your LIC policy. Right, today you have taken one LIC policy. The premium payment date is approaching, right? Let us say premium payment date is 31st of January 2023. Then they will start sending the reminders, right? On 1st of January, they will send one reminder or mobile notification stating that so and so policy is falling under the premium payment due. So you need to make the payment by 31st of January. That is the reminder number 1. On 10th of January, again reminder number 2. On 20th of January, so reminder number 3. Again on 31st of January, reminder number 4. So like that you will be receiving the mobile notifications or the automatic reminders. In the same way, in SAP, I created a purchase order. Within the purchase order, I specified, let us say I created a purchase order today. I think system seems to be quite slow. Let us say today I created a purchase order. Let us say this purchase order I created on yesterday, let us say, right? And after 10 days, means on 31st of December, 31st of December, I will send reminder number 1. So let us say there is something known as delivery schedule over here. No, I think delivery. You see here there is something known as reminder days, right? Let us say I created the purchase order on yesterday, right? Within the purchase order, I will specify the reminder days. So the first reminder is after 10 days of the creation of the purchase order. That means on 30th of 12/2022. So my system will be sending the reminder automatically. On second reminder after 20 days means on 10th of January 2023 it will send reminder number 2 and reminder number 3 after 30 days means on 20th of January 2023 it will send reminder number 3. So we need to specify the reminder days over here for the automatic reminders to be triggered. Not only this thing, so we have something known as a dunning process. So we have to do a little bit of configuration so that whenever you executed a dunning procedure, so the system will try to send the reminders to the vendor accordingly based upon the delivery schedules or the delivery reminders that you have specified over here in the system, right? So we need to do a little bit of extra configuration, but by just simply maintaining 10, 20, 30 it will not work. So we will see what is the dunning configuration we have to do it in our coming sessions as a part of dunning procedure. So this is the step number 4 known as a monitoring of the procurement documents. So then what is step number 5? So the step number 5 is goods receipt process, right? So the step number 5 is goods receipt process. Goods receipt process. So what is a goods receipt process? So as a company, I gave a order to the KSB pumps. KSB pumps against that particular order, they have manufactured the motors and they have loaded those motors into one of the vehicle, and they also prepared a invoice copy on the delivery challan. So that vehicle will bring the motors to my company premises along with the invoice and the delivery challan. Once the vehicle reach to my company, it will first report to the inward gate of the company, and that vehicle will be called into the warehouse or the stores department. Once the vehicle reaches to the warehouse department, the stores department people will unload the motors into the one of the inward stores department area, and they will keep those motors in the quality inspection zone, right? So any material which I am receiving into my company should be thoroughly cross checked for the quality inspection parameters, right? Let us say I requested a motor which should run at the speed of 20,000 rpm. I need to ensure whatever may be the motors that are supplied by the vendor should also run at 20,000 rpm. If it is running at 15,000 rpm, I will not accept that. So my quality department will come to the stores department and they will cross check whatever may be the motors I have received. Those are as per the quality parameters or not. Let us say I ordered 1000 motors. Vendor delivered 1000 motors. Right? Out of 1000 motors, 950 motors are quality passed, QC OK. And 50 pieces are QC failed. Right? So once the quality parameters are checked and the quality department made OK for the 950 motors, I need to register this particular 950 motors in SAP system as a goods receipt process. Right? So this activity will normally take 3 days. So during the step number 1 and step number 2, step number 3 and step number 4, there will not be any integration coming into picture. I just created a purchase order. It is a dummy document. It is simply sitting in SAP as a transactional data. It will not have any impact on the other modules. But when you do a goods receipt process, there will be a SAP MM and finance module integration coming into picture. Right? MM and finance. SAP MM and finance integration will come into picture. So if you do a goods receipt in SAP MM, it will have some implications on the finance module, which is known as a MM and FI integration will be coming into picture in case of a goods receipt process. Okay, so we will stop it here today and we will continue for tomorrow for the step number 6 and 7. I will also try to give you some brief understanding what exactly the MM and FI integration activities that are happening when you do a goods receipt process in tomorrow's session. Right, so are you able to follow the session or do you have any doubts or clarifications? Any doubts? Are you able to follow? Right, this is one of the important topic. If you go to any MM interviews, they will ask what and all the steps that are available in the P2P cycle. What is the relevancy of the each and every step? So you should be able to explain the way which I am trying to explain it over here. Right. So any doubts or clarifications?
Sir, can you tell me step number 2, sir, once again? Heading. First step number is creation of purchase requisition.
Vendor selection process.
Acha, vendor selection process. Second step.
Hmm.
Third step is
Yes.
creating the procurement document.
Yes.
And fourth and fifth are as
Step
informed.
number 4 is step
Monitoring the
number 4 is
procurement.
monitoring of the
Mon-
procurement documents. Then step number 5 is goods
Goods
receipt process.
receipt process. Here we are checking the quality of like whatever.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Any other doubts or clarifications?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. In Dunning process, you have said they will be reminders 1, 2, and 3. That's by default it will be in days, sir.
Yeah. Normally it is days only. We used to keep days, number of days only.
Okay, sir. Okay,
Or if you want to keep hours, you can keep it. But
mm-hmm.
better it will be in days.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Okay then. So thanks a lot for joining the call. So we will meet tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, sir. Bye.
Okay then. See you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.